Two. Here we go. Without further
Perfect.
ado, we've got Ana Morado today who's going to talk about RSA and how to upload your documents and also some other things that she wanted to mention as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes. And this
Okay.
is an interactive call. So if you want to unmute
It
yourself and
is.
ask
Yes.
questions, ask questions.
Yes. All right. So I always start my training, going to our expressway to our destination, I call it. This is our main toolbox here at HomeSmart Connect. We are, I highly suggest, and I almost make it mandatory to always start your day at our agent dashboard. From here, you can connect to all of your resources at one in one place. From here, you can connect to your MLS, to your RSA, to the documents, to all the other, resources centers that we do have. If you guys need, those like if you guys want to keep up to date on what's going on at HomeSmart, our bulletin board, the ladies, Sonia and Debbie and Christina do an amazing job, just always putting our newsletters there, what's going on in the community. So I really do suggest for you guys to check out our bulletin board daily, and so forth. So I am going to start from here. And I am going to connect to my Real Smart agent and then maneuver back and forth to our documents. So I am in my portal here in the Real Smart Agent. If I hover over the left-hand side, I am going to see the different features that the RSA has. We start with transactions, then follows Smart Docs. We're going to cover those two, and then we're going to cover a little bit on where what's under downloads. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to be covering anything in regards to marketing because we already had a class on that. So let's open up our transactions and we are going to start with listings. Okay, so does anybody have any questions creating a listing? I want to see where you guys are at. Any questions? No questions on creating a listing. Perfect. So now I have a listing here, 123 Main Street. I'm going to click on the listing. This is what it looks like when you already created the listing. I actually, this is not a real listing, so I actually had it created manually. It gives you the option whether to enter the MLS number to integrate all the information that's in the MLS already when you already put your listing live or you have it in the MLS to RSA. Um, and then also gives you the opportunity to enter it manually. Okay, so I did it manually, and this is what it looks like. In every transaction, you're going to see these tabs that are the most important tabs that you're going to be kind of playing with or working with is transaction details. Compliance review is the number one that you're going to be constant checking. Documents, this is where you're going to be uploading your documents. Okay, so let's talk about transaction details. This is what it looks like. If I click on transaction details, it gives me the details of the property. But the reason I go here is because one of the compliance requests is to enter your title, company, and your attorney names. Okay, so not only that you have to enter and create your seller's names and all that stuff, but you also have to, when it's under the sale portion, it does tell you where you're going to be closing. It does ask you, what title company are you going to be using and who are your attorneys, who your other parties are. It doesn't ask you for that in the listing side because it really is just self-explanatory. What you have uploaded is for your seller, right? So your seller's names are there. So we're going to be looking under the parties tab. So if you click on the parties tab here, you can edit the parties. So on the listing side, my friends, it only gives you the option of creating an agent, entering an agent, a client, or a referral. On the sales side, it will actually give you a broader list of attorneys, title companies, and all that, and that other stuff. So we'll get to it when we convert this one to a sale. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out because a lot of people are trying to put their attorney and their title companies on the listing side, but we're not there yet. The listing is just to upload your listing agreement and package, which includes your agreement, your affiliated business, and your anti-fraud form, and that all comes together, in a package. And then the seller signed disclosures. Okay, this is where you're going to be uploading it. So I'm going to go to the next tab, compliance review. I just created this. There's nothing uploaded yet. You would not see nothing, under the compliance review unless you have things to review, unless you have documents in your inbox. These are going to show up. So don't be scared if they're like, oh, they're required and I already uploaded it. When they're going to say that they're required until the compliance team reviews them, then everything is going to and
Are you cutting out with anybody else?
Yeah, she's
no,
cutting out with me. Yeah,
Me
the
too.
connection is unstable.
I don't know if it's us. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just open my door, maybe because I'm in an enclosed room here. I apologize for that.
You're good now.
Thanks, Bud.
Thank you. It's just overall here in Arlington Heights.
Yeah, it
Good
just
old,
froze for a second. Yeah,
yeah, good old weather, right? Okay,
yeah.
so we're in the documents tab here. I'm going to add my documents and I'm going to add the listing agreement along with my um disclosures. So I'm going to check wherever you hold your documents, whether it's in a folder or your downloads or your desktop or whatever that looks like, you're going to be uploading them from your computer and adding them here. You have to wait, give it some time. It doesn't instantly because there's a lot of documents. It counts them by page. So as you can see on the in the inbox, there's 16 items there. So give it a moment. If you're in a rush, I've had agents call me and said, I uploaded it and they're not in there. It's because they uploaded it and then closed their laptop and off they go. So if you don't give it the time to process it, it won't upload. It will, it'll be interrupted and then it would just disappear. So make sure, like I said, if the internet and your Wi-Fi is working, make sure that you see that items are in your inbox. I
Can we,
always double clicking on that little blue page and to see what was added there. There's my lead based paint. There's my radon, okay. And there's my property disclosure, okay. And then there's my listing agreement, okay. So I think that covers those 16 items, covers all the documents that I uploaded. Perfect.
so we
Okay.
can upload it? Can we upload it all as one document?
We can, yes. So when so for me, I used Dotloop and I download all the whole package in one PDF. So I uploaded. That does take a little while. Okay, just be patient, let it do its, run its course, and then make sure that everything is going to be in there. When you upload it, with just, all in one piece, it's still going to count the pages, because what the compliance review team does is that they get the notification that 123 Main Street has 16 items that need to be reviewed. They will then I'm going to go back to these categories here and, organize it to where it needs to go. So 16 items in my inbox. Let's pretend I'm part of the compliance team. I'm reviewing 123 Main Street. Okay, she has her listing agreement here. I'm going to put it here. She has her lead-based paint. I'm going to put it here. So that will be taken care of by the compliance review. Many agents try to check these boxes and try to upload the documents in there, and then they get frustrated because you can't do nothing else but upload documents and then just let them sit there while the compliance review reviews them. They will put it in their specific place. I did want to point this out. This has been a very good question that has always, that many agents do ask. Can we delete items once they're uploaded? Yes. At the moment, you can delete items, if say like I messed up on, oh, this lead-based paint is not for 123 Main Street, right? So then I will click on the page itself. The page number 1 is the one that I'm going to be deleting. It's highlighted with blue. Okay, so see, now if I click on page 2, it will bring that one up. But I'm just going to say that I messed up on number 1, or I just saw by reviewing it, oh my gosh, they did not initial, a line, and I'm going to get tagged on it. So I'm just going to go, before they review it, you can delete it. There's a delete button here right next to download. There, you can delete it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to delete these pages? This cannot be undone. Okay, so once you delete it, it gets deleted. And then if you want, and then if you need to add it on, then you add it on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. A very important disclosure here: once the review team reviews it, you cannot delete nothing. So at the time that you uploaded, make sure that everything is for that transaction and everything is signed and initialed that prior to uploading these documents. Because once the compliance team goes in there, these documents get locked and you cannot delete them. Okay, so I won't stress that enough. You can only delete it at the time when you upload them. So if I want to add again that lead-based paint, say that I want to I already corrected it. I had the buyer, the seller, in this case the seller, because we're working with the listing, initial it, then I will upload it again and it'll be there again. Okay, does anybody have any questions on deleting and doing well and doing anything while we're uploading the documents?
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, are rentals considered listings, or do you go to the rental tab if
Very
you're
good
listing a
question.
rental?
Very good question. So it does, if you're listing a rental, but I'm going to enter it manually here. It's
Mhm.
going to ask you, you're going to list it as a rental. It's
I
going
see
to
it.
ask you as a rental. The same thing for the tenant. If you're working with a tenant, you are going to be creating, and I'll touch base on that when we go down to the buyer broker. So if you're working with a tenant, you're going to create it as a buyer broker with the tenant representation agreement. And then you're going to, once you have that lease, then you're going to, convert it to a rental. So
Thank you.
the same thing with listing. Once this listing, the rental listing is created, you upload your rental agreement with your landlord, then you convert it to, once you have that lease, you convert it to a rental. So there's always two parts to a transaction. Okay. Yeah, good question, Mary. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm going to cancel that. Okay. Any questions on the listing? So now let's pretend, let's change the scenario. This listing 123 goes under contract. We're going to go to a sale. I already uploaded, oh, I wanted to really stress on that. I know I'm not in compliance, but I do help the compliance team by just clarifying a couple things. When I'm in the listing tab, and when I'm in the listing, I want to make sure. Let's pretend that the compliance review team already, reviewed all my documents and I have maybe one or two or three items that need to be, taken care of. I need to, problem solve on these, fix these problems, right? Maybe I forgot the seller forgot to initial on a slot on the agreement, or and all sorts of, maybe three things. I want to take care of those three things prior to that contract, that 123 going under contract, because those three things I want to clean it up and take care of it and have this status, being complete prior to that contract. If not, the moment that I turn it into a sale, those three items that are pending on the listing side would drag into the sale side. So guess what? The sale side is going to have its problem of, a problem, their problem of its own, because you don't have control of what the buyer signed or whatnot. Always rule of thumb, always make sure that everything is initialed and signed on the buyer side too. I usually, revise everything when that contract gets sent to me. And then if before I put it into the RSA, I send it back to the buyer's agent and said, there's a missing signature there. I'd rather deal it within that time than later on when I upload it into the RSA and then I get tagged on, by compliance review. Okay, so now we're going to create our sale. And it's going to say, who do you represent? And the sign in this scenario, we're representing the seller. So then all my listings will show here. So we're going to go with 123 Main Street. We're going to click on continue. Okay. So as you can see, this is already filled up. Now they want me to enter the price of the purchase, contract. So we're gonna say I listed it for 400,000, and I'm going to and the purchase price is 400,000. The contract date is today's date. Oops. And my closing is April 5th. Okay. Go to next. Now it's going to ask me about the buyer parties, right? So I can't move on until I create that new agent. When they're asking about that new agent, it's the buyer broker's agent. So I'm just going to say Debbie is going to be the opposing agent on the other side of 123 Main Street. Did I spell it correctly, Debbie? Okay.
You're good.
And I'm just going to do a mock phone number. Okay. Non at Gmail. Okay. So it won't highlight to save because it's asking me somehow it doesn't show up, but it the save button, or it doesn't allow me to go next because it's telling me it's asking me the brokerage of where Debbie belongs to. So if I go onto the search bar here and I do Home Smart Connect, it'll show up here. Now I click on it. Now the save button highlights it. Now it's highlighted. A lot of agents get stuck there because they're like, okay, what do I do next? It's not prompting to you to go and select the brokerage, but once you get familiar with it, you'll know like, oh, okay, I have to put the brokerage that they belong to. Okay. So now we're going to create that buyer client that's in my transaction for my listing. So I'm going to do, Jane Smith is the seller. Jane Doe is going to be the, the buyer, friends. Okay. And I'm going to save it. I don't like using Jane Doe because I feel like, that's a, deceased person. So, okay. So now
Okay,
it's going to,
I'm dead at this time of the morning.
yeah, right. Um, so now it's going to allow me to go next, right? Because I put all my parties in there. And this is where I was telling you that in the party section, it does, I'm sorry, in the sales section, it does allow you to put your other parties in there. So if you already know who your attorney is, go ahead and put it there. Obviously, if you're on the listing side, sometimes you do know where your attorney is going to close, right? So you can go ahead and put your title company in there. If you are on the buy side, you have to wait until you have your clear to close and it gets scheduled and all that good stuff, to enter it. But yes, on the sales side, it does allow you to put your other parties in there.
Too much information.
Yeah. Um, this section is where a lot of agents do get stuck with. So I really wanted to kind of, emphasize on the commissions part. This is where it says seller side distribution. It really means that. What is the seller paying, right? So what is the seller? If you are on the buy side, if you are the buyer's brokers, what is the seller side paying you? So if it's paying you 2.5, sorry, 2.5, then you put 2.5. Okay. What is the buyer side paying you? Well, if you are on the buyer side, if you are representing the buyer, and you negotiated for 2.5% because the seller's paying the 2.5%, then it would be the same thing. Most likely these two commissions do match. If they don't match, it will tell you it went wrong. So the
Whoa,
seller,
whoa, whoa.
go ahead.
So even though you're getting it from the seller, you have to enter the buyer site? Oh, I see buyer's side.
Buyer side distribution. Right. What is the buyer side getting paid?
I'm sorry. Early morning again.
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. We're on this together.
Hello. Good
Anna,
morning, Katie.
yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
know site adjusted gross commission 10,000. Can we do anything about that one? Can be adjusted.
Whoa, whoa.
On the buyer side, Sam, or on the seller side?
Seller side.
On the seller side, you have to go based on your listing agreement. They will cross-check, compliance review will cross-check what you have stated in your listing agreement. You can adjust it. You can adjust it to what's on the seller agreement.
Isn't there
On
a
the
form
buyer
to it?
side,
Okay, so the 10,000 is based on $400,000 price.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Thank you.
mhm.
Anna,
Isn't there a adjustment form if there is an adjustment to be made?
There is an adjustment to be made. If there is, for instance, if you are in the buyer side, okay, and your buyer agreement says 2.5%. When you establish that buyer agency relationship, you disclose to your buyer, I charge 2.5%. I'm going to do everything I can to have that seller pay, right?
Right.
Through the negotiation, process with that offer, that seller says, no, I'm not paying you the 2.5%, but I will offer you 2%. There is an amendment to the buyer rep agreement that changes 2.5% to 2% that you must upload.
Okay.
Okay, so any change on
Not
that,
that I want to do that, but
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and we can go over the forms and where that is, where that amendment is. There's always, keep in mind, food for thought, there's always a form for a form. Okay, so there's always a form for a change. So every time especially when you're changing dates and money. Okay, so there's always a form for that. Okay, so then I'm gonna move on to
wait,
the
Anna,
next.
Good
I just
morning,
want-
I'm sorry.
and I just want to clarify one thing. When
Mhm.
on that last screen you had, that is what my seller or buyer is paying me only, not like if my seller agreed on contract to pay the buyer's brokerage, we don't care on that
We don't
portion.
care on that.
Okay,
Mhm,
just clarifying.
mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. If you're on the seller side, because of the sales, sometimes, the sale works for both areas. So right now, let's stick with the scenario. Thank you, Carol, that we are representing the seller and now we're under contract. If that seller is paying us 2.5%, we put the 2.5%. But you have to put so then just match it up to the buyer distribution on the 2.5%, because if it doesn't, it won't, it gets all crazy. But so then, so yeah, you can move on, okay? But your commission statement is going to disclose only what you're going to get paid. Does that make sense?
I had a question. Can you guys hear me?
Sure. Yep.
Hi, can you go back to your screen that you were just on? It's related to what you just said. I just want to get clarity because I just uploaded a
Mhm.
file. So I'm representing my buyer for
Mhm.
this transaction, and the seller, which is the listing agent's client, agreed to pay me 2.5%. So when
Okay.
I'm on this screen on my buyer side, do I put 0 or I still put the 2.5 that I negotiated with my buyer?
The 2.5 that you negotiate. So always look at it this way. What is the seller paying you?
2.5.
Then you put 2.5 here.
Yeah.
You are going to be receiving as the buyer side, right? 2.5.
so
Does that make sense?
Um, mm, Not really, because when it said buyer side, that means that I'm receiving money from my buyer.
Yes,
But
it's going to look a little different. Let me go back to, I'll go back to your question when I go on the buy side, because right now we're doing the seller side. Do you see how everything on the seller
oh, I get that.
is,
I
yeah.
understand that. Yeah, I get that. I just want to make sure that I uploaded what I did correctly, because it sounds like you're saying whatever the written agreement is, that's what we put in this document here. That maybe I'm missing it. I don't know.
No, no, no. So if you have a written agreement for 2.5% and that's what you're going to get paid, you don't have to change anything. I guess I'm not following you. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you put in here the 2.5% because you said that was your agreement, initial agreement with your buyer agreement, and on the 8.0.
Yes. Well, no, not on the 8.0. I'm only receiving 2.5 from the seller on the 8.0.
What was your initial agreement on your buyer side?
2.5.
So you're receiving the same percentage?
I'm only receiving payment from the seller. I'm not receiving anything from the buyer, just like in your
Oh,
opening.
I
You're getting it
understand,
from
but
the
at the end of
proceeds
the
of
day,
the
yes,
sale.
yes.
Right,
At
right,
the end of the day, it's still the same amount, whether who's paying for it.
right.
The buyer rep agreements, 2.5%, it's not saying that the buyer is going to be paying for it, right? You're disclosing to the buyer that that's what you are going to be charging in the transaction, whether they pay for it or whether the seller pays for it. Does that
I
make
understand
sense?
all of that. I'm just talking about entering in the system. This screen here, that's what I'm talking about. This screen. Yeah, I'm not. I get all of that. I
So
just
if
want to make sure
everything stays the same, you do 2.5% on the buyer distribution.
I'm on this in the screen. Okay.
Anna, if we enter it wrong, compliance is going to tell us.
Yes. It won't
Great.
actually let you move on.
Well, yeah, in some cases you can't move on.
In
Great. Well,
some
thank you.
cases, it won't let you move on. Yeah. So,
Thank you
okay.
so much. I
So then
appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. So we're going to go on to the next screen. The next screen was you created if we wanted to add our attorneys and your home inspections in here and kind of like templates. So then you order you put your information in here and you order services per se, but we won't do we don't really use this. So we just go on to the next. Does anybody use this? Debbie, do you use this?
I've never used
I've
it.
never used it. I kind of just bypassed this
Never
page,
used it.
honestly. So it
Yeah.
confuses agents all the time, my friends. And,
I always
it
just type
confused
into my
me.
attorney
Yeah.
ads. Yeah,
Yeah. So, and then just move on to the next screen.
yeah.
They give you an option on writing a little note to the broker, meaning that goes to compliance team or to Sandy Borland, to your broker. And if I usually put here, if, for instance, if my seller were my parents, and I would say agent related to the seller, right? Or something kind of like important like that, like a little quick note on, or um, or I own this property and I am, I'm the owner and the agent on it. So kind of they know a little bit of the history on the transaction. So that gives you the opportunity to type anything there. So I'm just going to go ahead and save. Now it's allowing me to create that sale. So here the same thing, I'm going to upload the purchase contract. Everything is going to go into, once I upload those documents, everything's going to go into the inbox. And then I just leave it there. Once the compliance team reviews it, they will put it in their category. Okay. And again, always check on the compliance review once they get, the items are reviewed. Make sure that gets cleared. They're very, very specific to what they need, they tell you the line, number, they tell you exactly where, what form you can find. Sometimes I've seen notes that are super specific and clarifying where you can actually obtain, grab the form, like, go into this form is in the MLS broker forms, so just, be mindful of those notes and take care of those compliance issues, prior to, to getting it really deep into that transaction. So like that, you're cleaning all those, all those tasks before closing. Many agents are waiting to the last minute. They get busy with another transaction and kind of just let compliance notes stay there. And then guess what? They're closing this Friday, and now they're trying to clear these things up. They call the front desk, they call me and try to kind of, ask for explanation. Well, we're not going to give you an explanation. The explanation is right there. And we can show you where those forms are found. But if these, and we see the notes, these notes were there 2 weeks ago, and now you're closing on Friday. So what happens is that if that closing happens on Friday and those pending items are still there, the commission will be, on hold until those pending items are cleared. So make sure that everything gets cleared while you're in this transaction. Every single day, if you have a few transactions on your pipeline, check your compliance review. Make sure that that status is in green prior to that closing. So once these items are uploaded, then it will ask you to upload your commission statement. That commission statement is needed 10 days prior to closing. So I always kind of, make a note, that once it's a solid deal, I went through the attorney review and it's a solid deal, I'm going to submit my commission statement and upload it, because the compliance team needs to review it prior to you giving it to your attorney, making sure that the commissions are accurate, and that they know who's holding earnest money. Since we don't hold earnest money, they need to make sure that money is being accounted for. So just make sure that all is done prior to closing.
And
Just to
Jan
make
is asking a question, can I create a
Uh-huh.
practice sale / listing without creating a problem with compliance?
No, I actually had to ask for permission, and they asked, so on my broker notes there, I did training purposes. Yeah, I would have to check on that. I would have to check on it and to
But for
see,
now, it's not recommended.
yeah, it's not recommended.
Okay.
As it is, I actually had to ask for permission with Sandy and let the compliance team know that I'm going to have these mock transactions, because guess what? They already got the notification that 123 Main Street has 16 items in their inbox. So, they're probably going to be like, there's a new transaction that I have to review and it's blank. So, they know that I'm doing this training. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Sorry, my friends.
Anna,
Yes.
um, as far as the earnest money, I know that there's
Mhm.
something, the payload, is that also on here where are we just not far along, or is that something different to another spot you go to ask for?
That is a different spot. So we don't have payload. We can hold it. There's a few ways that you can hold earnest money. Ask your attorney if they hold earnest money through the title company that they usually work for. Or you can use Castle Connect, and I can point out to where you can find Castle Connect instructions. Danny Jenkins is our Castle Connect rep and our smart title. So she will, I'm sure she already reached out to all of you guys and kind of introduced herself. So she works for Chicago Title. In many cases where my attorney did not hold the earnest money, I did have Castle Connect and it doesn't charge us anything. They just
Well,
basically hold it. You
Will
don't
they,
have
my
to close with Chicago Title. I'm sorry, what was that?
will they hold earnest money even if they're not being used as title?
That's my question, yeah.
Yes, even though you're not using Chicago Title, they will hold it for you.
But then
So
you do have to have it transferred.
You have it transferred, yeah. So when you're submitting that order for them to hold it, it will ask you, are you planning to, do you know if you are planning to close in Smart Title or Chicago Title? And you say no, then they will know that at one point that earnest money is going to be transferred to a different title company.
And is that an online link?
Yes. So if you guys want right now while we have it like fresh in our mind. So Castle Connect, I usually go here. Castle Connect, it can be found in two areas, in our MLS broker forms or in the bulletin board. So I'm going to go into the Connect MLS and show you where you can find the instructions. So I go to forms here. I'm going to go down to broker forms. And all of our documents can be found here as well. So the ones that are
Oh.
kind of not in alphabetical order are the ones that are recently revised. So we've listed them, in the front of the line here. And then the Castle Connect. So I'm going to go down to C. There it is, Castle Connect instructions. I click on there. And let's see. So the instructions are right here. It's a portal. It's ctcastleconnect.com. And it even shows you a little diagram on where to click. You place the order. You put
I
your
don't see
buyer's
it.
information.
I'm not
Am I-
seeing it.
We're
I don't
not
see
seeing
it.
that screen. We're just seeing the
Let me
Castle
pull it
Connect
up.
instructions.
Yeah, I'm not going into Castle Connect. I'm just seeing the
Oh, okay.
instructions. Do you want me to go into Castle Connect?
Do you,
Um,
how do you know when, or does the compliance team let Castle Connect know that we're closing and they have to send the earnest money to American Title, or how does that move along? I was
so
just curious.
so the compliance team does not have it has nothing to do with Castle Connect. They just need to know who's holding the earnest money on the actual commission statement. So the commission statement actually looks like this. So right now that we're under C's, we're going to go commission statements.
Okay.
Can you guys see my screen can you guys see this?
No.
We're seeing your MLS screen with all the list of items that are, all the forms.
So when I open up a document, you guys can't see it,
No.
right?
No.
Okay,
No, you need
bear
to
with
share
me,
that
guys.
document. Yeah.
Gotcha. You got it. Let's see, share. Here you go. Can you guys see it now?
Now we can see it.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, let me zoom in. It's very tiny.
Oh, good. I did the right one.
Okay, can you guys see it now?
Yes.
I can put my magnifying glass down.
Yeah, so this is just the smart title, my friends. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But all the commission statements kind of just look the same. The most important thing, what I'm referring to is that earnest money. So if the earnest money, we put the amount here and then held by. So if you are having Chicago Title or Castle Connect hold it, you need to put here, you need to enter Castle Connect. So they know that Castle Connect is holding it. They don't really do anything with that, but they just HomeSmart Connect just wants to know that that money is accounted for, that you're not holding it in your pocket, but but somebody else, is holding it for you. Does that make sense? Okay, so then going back to your question, I'm gonna close this out here. Reshare my screen. So I am actually going to the Castle Connect and I'm going to share my screen again. So bear with me.
Want to bet?
All right. So let me open that up and expand it. These are the earnest deposit instructions. So you would start by going to Castle Connect site, and then it will send you the you put this send the payment for the property. Okay, these are the instructions, but the other tab that I went into was even better. Give me 1 second. I don't like this one because it was. Here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Kick me out of that MLS. Sorry. That's what happened. Okay, there it is. All right. Here we go. So you would log into Castle Connect, ctcastleconnect.com, and you will place an EM order. You need to fill out like the buyer information, property information, earnest money amount, seller and owner information. After all those required fields are filled in, then you submit it. You will get a notification from Castle Connect that you have placed an order to submit the earnest money. Your seller is going to get a notification, as well as that buyer is going to get that notification, a link, so they can deposit that money into that order. Okay, once that is there, you will be able to, once the money is in there, that will send you a receipt that the earnest for the earnest money. Okay, when you are ready to transfer out that earnest money, actually the title company will be you would just let Castle Connect, let them know and remind them that you will not be closing at Chicago Title, and they need to transfer out that earnest money to that other title company.
So Jan
Okay.
is asking, Smart Title and Chicago Title are two different companies. I always see them on the same forms.
So we need to remember that Smart Title and Castle Connect are powered by Chicago Title. So every brokerage's title company, it's supported and empowered by a bigger title company,
Chicago
right?
Title is the underwriter.
It's the underwriter, correct? Yes. It's the underwriter, it's the trust company that holds that money, and that does everything.
Mhm.
But Smart Title is empowered by Chicago Title, correct? Mhm. Okay. All right.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome, for sure. Thank you. Good questions, guys. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I think I lost my page here. Give me a second. And I'm gonna go back to any questions with the RSA that you guys needed me to cover. Do you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Go back.
I think I'm gonna need you personally.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. So for the new agents that just came, I know that Bud is new and Gloria is new and stuff. So the second layer of your support of your training is that when you do have a transaction, you can reach out to me and I will sit with you a one-on-one session, to kind of go over and upload those documents for your first transaction. If any
Okay,
of you guys do also, even if you're seasoned, I would love to support you. I'd rather have that time blocked to give you that support rather than, you calling the front desk and wanting, Christina to walk you through this when you already have like a closing coming up. So yeah, we rather teach you on how to do it than trying to, kind of do it while you already are going to be closing in a couple of days, right? Yes. So please feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to have a one-on-one session like this. I can, go into your account to your RSA and go through it with you, step by step, because I can see it. You can see with the same page. You can see the same account. You would just be uploading the documents, and I will walk you through it. I did that yesterday for an agent that has joined, and he's been with us for a little over a year, but he doesn't do a lot of transactions, and he was very confident on what he was doing because I was walking him through it. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me.
okay,
Um,
I added a listing today and I've got to upload all the documents. I'll let you know if I get it right.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we kind of walked through the whole like uploading documents for the listing. Just make sure that everything, if you if you uploaded those documents, and make sure like, that everything was uploaded, you know. And one of the main things, the main components for success in the RSA is that you have those documents already ready in your computer, that you're not, moving things around, you're not retrieving them from your email, you're not, you already have them downloaded into your computer and you're ready to go. So prior to uploading anything, make sure that you have those documents in a place where you can find them, because then it's going to go a lot smoother.
Mhm.
What I see when I'm helping agents is that they're trying to retrieve one disclosure from an email, and then another disclosure, it's on paper, and their organizations are, system is not there in place prior to actually putting it in the RSA. So whatever that looks like, make sure that you guys already have it would be a lot more, smoother if you have all your documents in one place.
I'm
And then
going
you
off
can
the
just,
broker checklist for each file as far as what documents I need.
That's perfect, bud. That's
perfect.
perfect.
Is that the checklist, the buyer checklist or the
Yeah.
Yes,
listing checklist? Yeah.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. That's exactly why we created that, because we wanted to make sure that everything was, and I actually like to print it out and write my notes there for my
So did I.
transaction. So yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I
All
had a
right. So
question.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm new to your company, but not new to real estate.
Sure.
And if a property like I listed was built in 2006, it doesn't, um, the lead-based paint is not necessary. Do we still have the client? Do you require the seller to sign it and then put NA on it or anything, or you just don't need the form at all?
So I've seen both, Mary, and I love your questions because it really keeps me, it keeps us learning, right? So I've seen both. If it's fairly close to, like, say it's 1979 or 1980, I've seen where the compliance team does require the disclosure. But you're right. If it's building 2006, we don't, it's not applicable. So it will still show up. So I'm going to go back to the listing, let's say the listing side, okay?
I know, because one
If
of mine
that,
does say that, yes.
yeah, the listing on the documents, say
Mhm.
they already reviewed these documents and they already put it there, but I didn't, I uploaded a lot disclosure. However, I don't need a lot disclosure for a house that was built in 2006. So if I don't upload it, it's going to still say required here. So don't freak out on that. Okay. The notes on the compliance review notes, it's going to say no, what is it? LBP required house was built in 2006. Okay. So as long as that says there and they already, that they understand that that house doesn't require an LBP, then you're okay. You're okay. Yeah. That required tab, it's still going to show up. But as long as that is in there and your status is completed and it's in green and you have green check marks, you're good. Okay, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, we want to get to green, not have any red in the compliance review. Okay. On the compliance review notes. Here, it probably will still say in red required, but that's something like that they can't remove or check off. So it's always going to say required, but if it's not required and then you're
change it to
included.
green?
I'm sorry?
Will compliance change that to green?
Change what?
The required not submitted.
Not on here, no. They can't.
Okay.
Okay, but if your notes say that LBP, and I'm saying LBP because I've seen it on how they write it. LBP is not required. Home was built in 2006. You're good to go. They're basically waiving that requirement. And then you're good to go. Okay, if it's 1976 and you don't have you don't have an LBP, they will tag you and it says the home was built in 1976. You are required to have a lead base paint. They're very, very specific to their comments. I have to give them that, they're very, very specific, meaning that it kind of tells us like instructions too on how to do it, right? Not only they're listing it, but they're also, giving a little bit more, information on where to find it or what we exactly need. So yeah, so just always be mindful of your compliance review notes. Okay, all right. So we are going to move on. So we were at buyer broker. We have a buyer broker named Maria Gomez. Okay. So I am working with a buyer now. I'm switching scenarios. I'm working with the buyer. I created this buyer broker. Okay. The buyer broker is any buyer or tenant that you are working with, that you are looking for a house for them. Okay. So if it's a buyer, it will tell you, let's say I'm going to create a buyer broker, and on one of the tabs here, it's going to ask you the same thing, sale or rental. Okay. So if you are working with a tenant, then you will select rental. And then you would put the effective dates on there and the buyer broker compensation for that tenant. Now let's think about that. If it's a flat fee, then you would put a flat fee. If you are charging, if you are going to be charging 50%, then you can do 50%. But most likely, it's really up to you. So whatever is on your buyer rep agreement for that, or that tenant rep agreement, that's what you have to put here. Whatever is on your buyer rep agreement, that's what you have to put here. If it changes throughout the transaction, when you are through that negotiation process with that seller, then we would just need a form to do that change. You don't change anything here. Does that make sense? So this is just based on what's on that buyer broker rep agreement. Okay, I'm gonna just cancel this one. I'm going to go for Maria Gomez. And I'm going to upload. It's going to ask me upload signed document or create a smart and send for signatures. So let's use this example to utilize that smart doc feature. Okay. So if I select smart doc, it's going to upload a document. I'm just going to upload let's say the lead-based paint here. And I am going to add it. Now it's going to take me to that document. So if I want Maria Gomez to initial, I'm going to put the initials. Oops. Here. I'm going to do a check mark. Let's see. The only thing with e-sign, it's free, it's great. It moves it to your transaction. That's the highlight of it, and I'll show you what that means. But it doesn't have a lot of features. It only has, just initial sign. You can, and then it doesn't have a lot of more features than like Loop or DocuSign. So if I want to check this box here that the seller has no knowledge of lead-based paint, I'm going to check it. Oh, I can't. I'm just going to place that box because it's going to have Maria Gomez check that box and initial that. So I can't do it. I can't do it for them. Like if it would be Loop, I can actually check that box, then just place the fields where they're going to initial and send it over, right? This one would not allow me to. So basically you're placing the fields where your client is going to initial and check. So we're going to do no here. Seller has no, and then we're going to do another checkbox here. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and send for signatures. Oh, I forgot her. Buyer broker sent for signatures. Well, her email doesn't exist. So it's going to, let's pretend it was sent. One second, I'm going to charge my computer. And you can see it there that it automatically, you put it in that transaction. And it's pending signatures, right? If we want to use Smart Docs without having a transaction, then we would go to Smart Docs, go to eSign, and create that signature again. Give me 1 second, my friends. I'm going to charge my computer before it goes back. Okay. So we're going to create that e-signature. Where'd I go? Oh. This happened last time. I think there must be like a security thing when I'm like when I'm recording or I'm teaching, it doesn't upload it. there must be some kind of firewall that doesn't allow me to upload it to create that e-signature. But you guys saw how I did it in the transaction for that sale. Or that buyer broker, I don't remember which one it was.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so it was for that buyer broker. For some reason, it doesn't allow me, and I don't know why. I think it must be some kind of like security or firewall system that's blocking for me to retrieve a document to send it over to get signatures, because I'm actually teaching. Well, if I log off of Zoom, it actually pops up again because I can do it now, but for some reason I can't. Do you guys have any questions in regards to e-signatures? No. Okay.
Sam, are you
Sam,
there?
do you have any questions in regards to e-signatures? I know that you were inquiring about electronic signatures. Was that for e-sign or was that for dot loop?
Sam, are you there?
Debbie, my question is on the dot loop, not on the e-signature.
Okay, so
Oh,
Loop is a program that's outside of our RSA. That's a program that you purchase.
Correct. That's
So
why I ask for somebody to come and show us the smart way or the shortcut how to go around it.
so you want me to bring in a representative from Loop?
If you don't
I
mind,
can. Well, there's a lot of videos on dot loop, and I can show you where they are at. If you go to dot loop and they will, there's a lot of videos where you can see webinars and all that stuff. I will be happy to send those links to you. And it will teach you on how to use dot loop. When you say that that you needed to know how to like maneuver in dot
yeah,
loop or how to
yes,
use it, is that what you need to know?
yes, I know that when I create the 8.0 offer, either on MLS or somewhere else, and then I will save it and upload it to dot loop. And then now I want to put 14 initial on the buyer side of the contract on the bottom of the page. There should be a way to only with one click, the system will put all those initial on those 14 pages of the contract. Then I go to the
Not with dot loop. DocuSign, yes. Not with dot loop. You have to go to every area and do the initial field there.
and then when the seller
Can you guys see my screen on dot loop? No?
I
Yes,
don't see.
Yes. Okay.
yes.
So I'm going to go to the 8.0.
Okay.
Okay. And you mean that right here on your initials, like
On
with
the
one
left,
click on the
left,
bottom?
yes,
On the bottom, you actually have to assign every single field under dot loop.
yes.
Not with one just click, all 14 fields are going to do it.
Oh no, okay. Yeah, I was trying to find out if there is any way to do it.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
It's like, add initials, here, add initials there. I mean, it's constant. You have to be placing it specifically there. In DocuSign, you can. I think not all versions of DocuSign you can. I think if you have like the Pro or, a lot of companies, I remember, working with DocuSign in my not previous brokerage, but oh gosh, and we were able to, do that, not with Dotloop. Dotloop is specifically, designed for real estate transactions that they're very, very cautious on what to, they're very analytical about that everything has to be placed intentionally there. Does that make
And
sense?
yes,
Mhm.
yes. Also, the dot loop doesn't let you to put any check mark anywhere on the disclosure because that's only the buyer choice or the seller choice to place
Correct. You
on the lot.
cannot touch any property disclosures. You cannot do any check marks, whether they're electronically or on paper.
Yes.
Rule of thumb, you can even put your pen on it. Like if you were doing it on paper, no, you give it directly to that seller and you do not touch it. You can place the you can oh gosh. You can, I'm gonna pull up the property disclosure here. So if you guys are utilizing, I just wanted to, do now that we're talking about Dotloop. Dotloop with us, all of our templates are in if you choose the buyer loop, all of our buyer templates and all of our forms are in there. So that's the beauty of using the Dotloop with us because you don't have to go back and forth on the documents. If I choose the buyer loop, then all the buyer templates are in there. The buyer checklist is in there. The buyer rep agreement is in there. The 8.0, everything that goes with that buyer transaction is in here. Even brochures for your buyer. If you select the listing loop, then all of your listing templates will be there too. So that's the beauty of it. It is extra. It's 150 a year. It does get prorated to when you sign up. But I think it's phenomenal because all of your forms are in here. You don't even have to maneuver. What I just do is I go into the document and I fill out everything and then I send it over to get it signed. Once that sign package comes back to Dotloop, then I download it and upload it to the RSA. So it's only two places where I have to do it, but I like it because I am able to organize my transactions in the loop. So just food for thought if you guys want to join Dotloop.
So
So
you think all the forms on the dot loop are up to date and they're accepted by the company and with the E&O insurance company?
what insurance company?
The E&O. I mean,
All of the documents, yeah, the Dotloop, all of the documents in here are streamlined documents. All the documents that are in here that are in our HomeSmart document folder are in Dotloop. And yes, they are they are updated. So because we put them in here. Sonia,
you
puts them
okay?
in here. Yeah,
Yeah,
we put them personally in here.
as
Mhm.
long as dot loop doesn't put it there.
No, this is our specific premium account for Dotloop, so we are able to upload the templates or specific forms into those templates.
Acceptable.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
So now that we're talking about the property disclosure, so I think what Sam was asking was that if we can, oh no, that's not it. Where is that property disclosure here? Am I not missing it? Escalation, even the escalation and the appraisal gifts is in here. Everything you need. Open house signs are in here. This is great. Everything you need is in Dotloop. I don't see am I missing it? For sure. I don't see the property disclosure. Huh. anyhow, so in the
There
property
it
to
is. It says,
where,
oh, but that's a brochure.
yeah, that's a brochure. I don't know where it's at.
I know if you click on the lead-based paint, for example, and you want to send it to your buyer, now you cannot put a check mark for your buyer. They have to pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot tell them where to initial, either this line or the other line. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I couldn't find out how to do it, the disclosure part of it. But if you know any nice way to do it, please let me know.
Sam, I'm not following your question. So on the property disclosure, it would not allow you to do anything for your client. He or
Correct.
she would have to do it.
Okay. But
Okay, so you can only write on the property disclosure, you can only write, let me pull it up here.
but when I send it to the buyer or the seller,
Mhm.
they cannot do anything on the dot loop to put a check mark on the yes, no, or NA.
Are you uploading the property disclosure or are you using the template in here?
No, I'm uploading from outside.
But are you using our dot loop?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so the dot loop, let's see. I'm actually curious and why it's not there. So I'm going to create a loop. Add a loop. If I add a loop from I just when I'm working with them I'm just gonna do two mainstream. Okay, continue. Loop template, I'm gonna select listing documents.
Okay.
It's gonna take up, it wants me to upload a photo, but I'm done. View loop. Let's see here, property disclosure. If you use the property disclosure in the template, Sam, it does allow you to do it. So here you can actually write the address here and the date. But on this, you have to assign these to your client.
And how do you assign it? I mean, you either can do add initial or add signature.
So when you click on it, it says assign to no one. You have to assign to your seller. You have to assign them to your seller.
But I want to give them the power to put a check mark in one of these question. Is there any way
Right.
to
So
do it?
you have to you can assign these forms to your seller. So say the Ana Morado was your seller.
Okay.
Then if I was your seller, I'm able to do that because it's assigned to me. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have to make sure it's assigned to your seller.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. So any other questions? I know that we kind of went off topic, but I think we covered, most of stuff and most of the things that were on my list, right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Did you guys
There's
want me to
nothing in the
cover
chat.
anything else?
And there's nothing in the chat now. People are just saying awesome, thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're so welcome. Let me know if you guys have any further questions. let's, if you're, I always want to kind of just close with this. The more that you do it, the better you will get. And if your your best bet is to actually go through the process. If you stumble through it, find some help and then we can help you. And then you will know, what to do the next time or what not to do the next time, right? But, so I would definitely, if you have a transaction coming up and you find yourself a little like, hesitant on uploading things or creating that transaction, please feel free to reach out to us. We will be happy to set up a time. You know, what we are finding is that there's a lot of calls to the front desk asking for that, at that time for help. So Christina's being held by a 25-minute phone call or a 30-minute phone call to, walk, agents through the system. So, if you come to the conclusion that you do need some help, we will definitely help you, and setting up a time to help you. We rather for you to have that one-on-one and teach you how to do it. So then the next time it'll keep getting a lot better and smoother. So thank you so much for coming joining into my class. Let me know if you guys have any further questions or if any other topics. I will be teaching the first Thursday of the month, so I would love some feedback on what you guys would like to learn, RSA related or anything with our resources in the agent dashboard related. But thank you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort and I wish you all the best for 2026. Spring is definitely here and let it bloom with lots of luck and transactions for you guys. Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. You're welcome so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day.